Now we come to the effector assembly, and I just thought I'd like to show it to you in its assembled position. It's not tight yet, so I could just show you what you need to do, what you need to look out for, and what problems you get. The effector has the main top plate, clamping plate, and the Z probe plate. The hot end can actually still move when it's clamped. So again, deciding on how you're going to wire it up depends on where the wires go. This can sit in any three positions. Here is the Back to the Future moment again, after progressing up to setting up the machine and doing the calibrations and all that. Coming to the probing, this is where the problems raise its head. When you set your table, set that socket head cap screw 80mm along there, which is fine, they'll fit fine. However, not mentioned in the manual, the Centron manual, when you set up your effector, have your probe the point through the center line on your Z column. So this is one rotation out, and like I mentioned to you, I like to be able to clip it down and all that sort of stuff. However, if you do that, it means the probe is in a direction where it cannot reach the Allen key. From the center across, I need to send it 90mm, and it'll only travel 70 and it'll stop. So you do M114 and you find out you set a G1 90 and it's 70. So it's restricting itself, so now I'll have to spin this around and put this on this side. So I'll just undo the carriage screws and swing around, and hopefully all this won't bite and interfere and all that. So that's why from this point after, it will be looking one way, and this point back in the history, it will look a bit different. But I'm letting you know now so as you don't have the problem at the end. So I'm going back to the future. You can fix it up here in the present, depending on where you've got the push rods connected. So this is the main heater and thermistor for the hot end. So that needs to run up a set of arms. This is the fan. And these are the short cables that come with it, you've seen before, and you'll have to make up a connector for it. There's a plate sticking out this side. That's to mount another fan on the angle like that to blow down. Then we come to the third area, is your Z probe. You have to modify the micro switch by cutting off the lever. There is some cable in the kit, but is it enough to go from here, up here, down, around to here? Or is it also used for the heat bed? So you have to work all this out. So you can buy this type of cable already, red and black, and it's sealed together. Like I said, servo cables, radio control servo cables, all that sort of thing. So that's why I've gone this way. As this is a signal, I always wire my signals or colour code the wires yellow. If you look at the CNC4A logo, and you'll notice also on most 3D software or even the printer, there is a triad there, the three-pointed axis, X, Y and Z, and that is coloured according to the old video standard, the red, green, blue, RGB, and the X, Y and Z are red, green and blue. When I will do this wiring, I will colour code all the cabling, red for X, green for Y and blue for Z, no matter where it is. So I just have to look, see the colour, and I know. Then any signal, as in the stops here, they will have a yellow connector on it, and if it's a Z stop, I will put two colour pieces of heat shrink on, and I think you'll know what it is. RGB, B is for Z, yellow is for signal. So I'll have the blue and yellow, and no matter where I see it, I know that's a Z and a signal. So if you just do that standard in all your electronics and that type of thing, the wiring will seem a lot simpler. Also, you need to work out connectors and a bit of heat shrink to shrink this on. So do you pull this wire back up with this? Then you have your feeder tube. So what a lot of people do is they combine it all together, so it all goes out the side and it's all wire wrapped. I've got wire wrapping coming on eBay, so that can be between 1 week and a month, and if it doesn't come, 2 months. So hopefully by the time I get to the wiring stage it would have arrived. So that's what you have to decide to do. So you've decided where your X, Y and Z columns are. So then you say, right, do I want the cabling coming in front of my face all the time? Do I want to go off to the right or off to the left? So this is the decisions you make as you're up to that stage. As I normally print in this area, the power points are on the right, so that's why everything's running to the right. And I can put the laptop up here if I want to. So that's the main assembly. As you can see, this will stick out too far and may hit a tower. So again, they bend that up and try to attach it to the fan. That's the rat's nest you can end up with. If you want, you can make up a particular block that might have 10 mounts on it. You can just plug it in with one cable. But that's the mess they're starting to get. And remember, it must be able to move out the way, not hitting any towers, that sort of thing. So that's a basic look at the Effector assembly. Now, I'd just like to talk to you about some of the problems. Fitting the fan, quite straightforward. There's some screws in the kit. Now, for all of these plastic parts, for all the screw holes and all that, I always like to tap them. This is one of these spiral taps, 3mm. And I like to tap the plastic because that thing allows you to screw the screw in, nip it up onto the plastic tight, and then you can put your nut on the other end, and that basically becomes a bit of a lock nut. If you just have one screw and a sloppy drilled hole in the nut sitting on the other side, it may eventually vibrate loose, unless it's a lock nut, of course, or you put two on. So that's why I tap that. So that's the basic look. I'll take that off now. That's why it's just loose, and I'll show it to you in a bit more detail.